Hey guys, my name is Julian and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to do an unboxing and a review. We're going to check out this JOYO wireless system. Now guys, I am not affiliated with JOYO or JOYO, however you name it. And I know last week I also did a pedal yo-yo. But the thing is that, it has been a long time since I tried wireless. I believe the last time was probably years ago. And back then, obviously, I didn't buy like a super high-end, wireless system because I didn't need to. So I just bought kind of like, again, like, a cheaper one, like this one in a way, more inexpensive. And it didn't really turn out that well. Kind of had a little bit of like lag. The battery didn't last too long. So it's been a while. So I thought, let me try a wireless system. I'm kind of a little bit tired of just like, having to buy cables. I use cables a lot. I gig. I do a lot of stuff on the studio with recording. So I'm always, taking out cables, moving them around, and they just break, guys. Even like the really high quality ones, they eventually break. So I thought, let me try out this wireless system. It's $55. So, a good cable or two might be, somewhere around that price. So, if it could last me even for like a year or two, I'm already saving money on cables. And if it works well, if it has no big latency, if it has like no weird, signal interfaces coming through and things like that, then I actually think it would be good. So we're gonna check it out. We'll see what happens. I have not opened this yet. We're gonna unbox it and then we're just gonna plug it in, okay? Okay guys, so we're gonna try 3 different ways of plugging this wireless system. The first one is gonna be obviously guitar to pedal board, right? So we'll see if, how well that works. Then I'm gonna try out from my pedal board to my amp. Because I always wonder, I know most people use, plug them to their guitar, but in the studio, if I get 2 of them and they work really well, I wouldn't mind just having like no cables in the studio. That would be great, and even playing live. That's something that when I do play live, on my next gig, I'll try them out and let's see, how that works. And based on that, I might get another one, but we'll see. There's many things that we don't know yet. And then the other way that we're gonna test it is from the guitar to my interface, because again, that's a different connection. There's different things going on there, and we'll see if it works all these different ways. And then I guess I'll just give you my opinion once we check it out. Okay, so let's do our unboxing. Right now the box pretty little, nothing too fancy, which is okay by me as long as it comes well packaged. So let's open this up, guys. So over here, guys, we have a manual, which, for this kind of thing is always useful. All right, and, I don't even think that we need it. Should be pretty self-explanatory, but let's put that over here. Right now, guys, it came pretty well packed, I do have to say. So that's a good thing, Seems like it's well packed. Now, what do we get? We get a cable, obviously a USB to USB-C cable with double. So let's just kind of like untangle this and see what we got. All right, so we got, guys, our USB to 2C ports. All right, it does not come with like the little power head, so but I think most people have one of those at home. So you could just use one of those, obviously, which is what I'll do. I'll just plug it to your computer, right, or any device that gives power. All right, so cable looks nice, looks thick. It's not one of those little super thin cables, which I always prefer to like thicker cables. Does it make a difference? I don't know, but makes me feel that it's a little bit better. Okay, and then we have, guys, let's put our cable over here for a second. All right, and then we have obviously our receiver, which is this one over here, and then we have our transmitter. Right now, first view of this compared to what I had before years ago again. So it was a long time ago, and technology is improving humongously fast, but they already feel much sturdier, right? So they feel good. They actually, when this part over here, which you plug to different places, obviously depending on where you plug it into, you might need to move it around. That feels nice and well put together. It's not loose. The other one either. All right, so it already feels nice, right? It feels, again, it's not gonna feel like the most expensive, obviously high class system, but again, for what you pay for, it feels good, just as their pedals in a way, right? So let's go ahead and turn them on, guys. Let's just turn them on and see. How do you turn these things on, by the way? Let's see if we can figure this out, guys. Okay. All right, pretty cool. All right, so that took a second. So check it out, guys. If you press that little JOYO on the front, they turn on, and they turn green. It looks it looks pretty cool, guys. I do have to admit, the one that I had before had like a little switch over here and like a little tiny light. I kind of like that they have like, you know, like a bit light. I don't even know if they're connected to each other yet. I'm gonna try it out first without the manual. We'll see if it works. But I think that looks actually pretty cool and pretty nice, easy to see. I guess when you plug it in, we have, like, I see that the light over here they have on the side is not like a full bar. It has like 4 little dots or 4 little spaces. And I see that it's not like going all the way to the end. I wonder if it's because it's probably not fully charged. Most of the times, these things don't come fully charged. They just come with like, you know, half or even 1/4 charge. But they turn on, guys. All right, so already, at least they turn on, right? So let's go ahead, guys, and then plug in. So again, we're gonna start by plugging in, you know, I'll put it to my guitar. And then the transmitter to a guitar, and the receiver, I put it on my pedal board. And then I'll try some different pedals, see if anything makes a difference, see if there's any big latency, any lag. You know, I'll try stacking some drives, see if that creates some kind of, you know, weird sound, because that's kind of what I'm looking for. I want something that is clean sounding, and then something that obviously has no lag, guys, because I do hate when things have lag or latency. It just makes the whole playing experience unnatural. All right, so let me plug this in and we'll start testing. All right, guys, so here we have our first connection, right? So I plugged it into my guitar, right? By the way, I'm using my Schecter Nick Johnston for this one, single coils, because I want to see if, again, if any of those, like, you know, 60-cycle home things, you know, make a difference. You know, we'll see. They're a little bit noisy, of course, right? And then I have the other one, which you're going to see a second in the other camera, but you're going to see that is attached, you know, to my pedal board. You could probably see the top right here, right? And so what we're gonna look for first, guys, I'm not gonna use any delay or reverb because that might not let me know if there's any latency. So the first thing is, let's check. Let's just see if there's any latency. So I'm just gonna play some things. Right, guys, so I'm not feeling any latency at all, guys. So I'm actually quite surprised because it feels like if I have a cable plugged in, like, you know, I wish you could do like a you know, blindfolded kind of like thing where, you know, someone will plug in a cable and then plug in the other one, but obviously it's me by myself here. But guys, no latency at all. Yeah, guys. All right. By the way, here's my pedal board. So it's pretty close to me, and here's the amp. So the distance is not like far away at all. I don't know what, you know, what difference that makes, if that is gonna make any. But obviously in a room, I don't think it matters. Once I try it out gigging, that's where, you know, things might be farther apart. You know, we'll see how that reacts. I'll do like a little update for when I gig with it. All right. But so far, guys, absolutely no latency. I don't feel it, and of course there's always gonna be a little bit, but you know, the thing is, like, you know, do you feel it? Is it big enough to feel? But I don't feel any latency. It's direct. Okay, so now let me try out some different pedals. Again, today we'll have no delay or reverb, just because we want to see if there's any noises in there, right? So let's begin by just putting like a tube screamer. All right, let's try the neck. Actually, guys, this is very, very quiet. So check it out. You know, there's no noise at all. Obviously, I'm not using a lot of gain yet, but you know, super clean sounding so far. All right, but you know, let's kind of like do a little bit of stacking. So one of my favorite stacks is the Red with the blues driver, Boss blues driver. So check it out. I think it might be, you know, there's a little bit of noise from the amp. I don't know if you can hear, but it's actually, I think, a little bit more silent than my cables. Maybe my cables were not that good. Let's do the bridge. Guys, there's, all right, still no latency. Sounds great. By the way, I know how my pedals sound, especially in the studio, because obviously I play them a lot and I record a lot, and I don't hear any like reduction of highs or lows. Feels just as if I had a cable. Kind of surprised, to be honest. Sounds really good. I mean, it's 55 bucks, guys. So that's kind of like what I'm thinking. Like, you know, what am I getting for 55 bucks? And so far, pretty good. All right, let's see. Let's do like high gain, guys. So here I have this Freeman that I'll show on the channel one of these days because I got it on a tray and it's an amazing pedal. Let's put all the gain up. It's kind of like a plexi. Alright, so you know there's hum from the amp. I can hear the hum, but there's like no weird whistling noises, which is kind of what I was worried about. Nothing. Let's try this send drive, you know, just for the fun of it. Pretty crazy, guys. So I turn my volume off, so obviously there's getting no noise there. But guys, okay, test one, pass. Guitars with pedal board, perfect. All right, tone perfect, no latency. Okay, now let's try our second test, which is going to be going from our from the output of the pedal board, right? It's gonna go to my amp. All right, and then I will have to connect obviously a cable to the computer from the input to the pedal board. But let's see if there's anything, you know, weird there. But so far, excellent. All right, guys, so we're back. So now my guitar is plugged in to my pedal board. But now again, as you will see on the other camera, we have the JOYO, right? The transmitter now is going from the out of the pedal board, right? Which is with the HX Stomp XL, right? And that's going right here into my TH30. Here we have it, right? So let's turn it on. I haven't even tried it out. Oh wait, I think I turned it off, guys. Wait, give me a sec. Press that button. Uh-oh, I did something weird. What did I do? Okay, there we go. Sorry guys. I guess be careful when you're pressing on the front. I don't know what I did. I guess it was looking, I made it go into search mode, but I pressed it by accident, and then so I guess that's something to watch out for, guys. If you're playing live or anything with this thing, make sure you don't touch that at the top when you're like turning the knob. But here it is. All right, so let's turn the amp on. All right, again, same setup, nothing has changed, same guitar, same everything. Let me put a volume on. All right, and here it goes. Yeah, all right, we got it to sound. So again, guys, I am not noticing any latency at all. All right, again, sounds just like when I have a cable plugged in. I'm not hearing any tone loss, any, loss of highs or lows. So I know I'm just doing like, the first day, but obviously I'll play it every day pretty much. And if it, if it works well and everything keeps working, as it should, I might just get a second one, and then I'll have like two of them, one going from the pedal board to the amp, one going from my guitar to the pedal board, and that's gonna save me actually a lot of like running around, cables all over the place, which is not only messy, but it's kind of like a pain in the butt because I have to move a bunch of things everywhere. So guys, all right, let's turn something on. Let's do something different, I guess. Let's do the Boss Blues Breaker. Rich. Let's kind of move the guitar. I know this is weird, but I'm just trying to see if, yeah, guys. I mean, this house, the one where I'm living now, it is bigger, but the cabling is very old. So even the, kind of like there's a lot of noises when you plug in things. So I wonder if this actually makes it sound cleaner, because with cables, I get a little bit more noise, especially when I move around. All right, let's do our hard gain, but let's stack it. All right, so again, that noise, if you hear it, that comes because I'm stacking two, drives with a lot of gain. Yeah, there's nothing there. All right, nothing there, guys. So test number 2, guys. Pedal board to amp works perfect. Right now for the last one, obviously I'm just gonna plug in straight to my DAW, which is down here, and I'm just gonna use a plugin and see again, how that works. All right, so let's check it out. All right, guys, so now let's do test number 3. So we're back to, plugging it to the input of my guitar, right transmitter, and then the receiver, guys. I know it's gonna be a little bit hard to see. Is that I don't have enough camera stands at least, but I have my interface down there, and where you see a little green light, all right, wait, let's see, yeah, you can see it there, right? That's where the transmitter is. I'll try to zoom in for a second. It might be a little bit pixelated, but the receiver is there, so it's going into my DAW. So guitar, straight to interface, and then I just have the Mark IIC Plus Neural DSP plugin, all right, which are recording. Actually, I need to press record, give me a sec. All right, there you go. So we're recording, so let's see. And now let's gonna move it around a little bit. I know it's a little bit weird, but I'm just trying to see if moving around kind of like changes or adds some kind of like, again, I'm just like expecting like this little whistling or like a radio signal to come through. But guys, that was test number 3. All right, and it's crazy, but it sounds perfect, guys. All right, I'm actually very surprised because it's as clean as a cable. I like as a new cable, of course, you know, there's like no noise. And then what happens to a lot of my cables is that overusing them, I'm moving them around, especially the ones that I plug into a guitar, like the tip, over bending over and over. It gets to a point where, you know, they just have like these special moves that I do, maybe I guess by pulling them, where it causes like a little bit of like crackling, which with this, I will not have to worry about that ever. So that was test number 3, guys. So past 3 tests. All right, so now let's talk a little bit about it. All right, guys, so I do it every video. I just like to share my overall thoughts about so far, you know, any gear that I'm reviewing. So, you know, here they are, guys, kind of out close. Let me see if I can put them a little bit closer. All right, and I actually think that that little light there on the front looks really, really cool. Looks kind of like high quality, guys. So again, doesn't feel cheap, which is, again, you know, the ones that I had, you know, it was a long time ago, so things do change. But that's all, something important for me. When I buy things, I don't like them to feel like, you know, flimsy, cheap, like, you know, they just feel good. It feels like they're, you know, well built for what they are. Obviously, guys, I didn't pay $1,000 for this. If I paid $1,000 for this, I would expect way more. But guys, again, $55 on Amazon. And, you know, they pass every test that I did. Now, obviously, does that mean that they're going to keep working? You know, we'll see. And that's why I'll probably do like an update, you know, on a month or 2, maybe like 2 months. That way, you know, I'll get to use them a lot. I'll use them pretty much every day. Every time I make a video, I'll take them out to a few gigs. And, you know, one of the things that I'm kind of going to test them on the long run for is, you know, how long does the battery last? For example, this one is already showing me half of the battery, while the transmitter is still showing me 3 bars, so 1 more. So, you know, one of those things is like, you know, is the battery gonna, you know, last for both of them? Is one of them gonna just start dying out while the other one works, which, you know, happened with my older ones? You know, all of those things we'll test out, guys. But then again, guys, you know, for the price, I think they're good, and that's how much a good cable is, you know, somewhere around, you know, $50 if you want like a high quality cable with good components. So I think it might be worth it. So we'll see on the long run how well it does. But let's say like on day 1, they work perfectly, and I'm actually pretty happy with them. You know, JOYO, and I did a video about one of the pedals last week, and I'm surprised because what you pay for, guys, is good. I know that, you know, Chinese companies or Asian companies, or even just companies not from, you know, certain places, get kind of like frowned upon, and they get looked at as like, you know, bad quality. But I've been surprised with them because I have 3 of the pedals, right? One we already reviewed. I'll do the other ones later on. But none of them have like crapped out. None of them sound bad. They actually sound good. They feel good. And, you know, they just feel like any other pedal that I pay more for. So, you know, it does feel like, you know, a bang for the buck, you know, kind of thing. So, you know, I don't mind that at all. Obviously, I think nobody minds that, especially now when things are kind of, you know, a little bit harder. So, you know, that's kind of today's test, right? So we'll see on the long run. By the way, I was looking at another one. I like, you know, other different brands. And yeah, again, you know, because of how well the pedals have been for me, I'm like, you know, let me try it out because either I've been lucky or they're just good. But so far, nothing that I had JOYO has, you know, really broken or gone bad. All right, now I did look at the Knox B8, but guys, that is a $300 wireless system. So it's way more than this. Obviously, I've seen a lot of videos on that one and it looks high quality. It looks so freaking good, but I'm not ready to make that jump yet. All right, maybe in the future I'll make it because it looks really good. But for what I needed, it might just be a little bit of overkill. So, you know, that's today's video, guys. Hope you enjoy. And again, let me know what you think. Let me know if you have one. Good experience, bad experiences, you know, just kind of like, you know, write on the chat what you guys thought about it. And I'll see you next time.